News in the Hillary Clinton email story, the FBI reveals what she told them and all the time she told them she could not remember. She says she's glad it's out in the open. Her supporter says it reveals no wrongdoing. Donald Trump says her answers defy belief. First, though, the last thing that tens of millions of people want to see. There's no criminal smoking gun connected to her use of a private email server while Secretary of State, or in what she told investigators about it. More evidence, say detractors, that she was less than honest, less than prudent about security, and they argued that she broke the law. Beyond just that, the documents contain other details that give everyone on all sides new insight into how the FBI did its job and how Secretary Clinton did hers. More now on all of that from our Joe Johns.
Wow.
The FBI's formerly classified report on its investigation into Hillary Clinton's private email server reveals there was a lot she said she could not remember when being questioned by agents. The report indicates 39 different times Mrs. Clinton said there were things she did not recall or remember, according to the FBI's notes on her interview. The documents providing insight into why the FBI did not recommend charging Clinton even with classified information on her private server, including 81 email chains that contained sensitive information.
Although we did not find clear evidence that Secretary Clinton or her colleagues intended to violate laws governing the handling of classified information, there is evidence that they were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information.
In her more than 3-hour interview with the FBI, Clinton could not recall any briefing or training by state related to the handling of classified information. She said she could not recall every briefing about how she should preserve her records when she left the State Department, the FBI noting she was recovering from a concussion and blood clot at the time. Clinton said she relied on her aides to use their judgment when emailing her and could not recall anyone raising concerns about information sent to her private account. She also said she did not know that a C marking on a document meant it was classified, and even asked interviewing agents for clarification. Some of the classified emails that caused the most trouble for Clinton discuss the CIA's covert drone program, which should never be discussed on any unclassified email systems. The report says Clinton stated deliberation over a future drone strike did not give her cause for concern regarding classification.
Welcome to all of you.
But one of the things Mrs. Clinton seemed conclusive about was her motivation. She told the FBI she used her personal email server for convenience and not to evade Freedom of Information laws. Attorney General Loretta Lynch followed the FBI's recommendation and passed on prosecuting Clinton, who eventually admitted using a private email server was a mistake.
I would certainly not do that again. That is something that at the time, as even Director Comey said, seemed like a convenience, but it was the wrong choice.
Donald Trump wasted no time seizing on the release, saying, quote, Hillary Clinton's answers to the FBI about her private email server defy belief. I was absolutely shocked to see that her answers to the FBI stood in direct contradiction to what she told the American people.
And Joe Johns joins us now. Back to something you mentioned in your piece. The report actually ties Clinton's concussion and blood clot to some sort of memory loss. Is that right?
Yes, but it's about a very specific time period. The notes talk about Hillary Clinton's concussion, which happened in December of 2012, and the blood clot she was dealing with around the new year. And they say that based on doctors' advice, she could only work at State for a few hours a day, couldn't recall every briefing she received. But that appears to be something they were discussing in the period when she was transitioning out of her role as Secretary of State in early 2013. And during that time, Clinton said she received no instructions or direction regarding the preservation or producing records. So yes, there's a reference to a concussion and a blood clot affecting recall, but it was pegged to a very specific time period, Anderson.
All right, Joe, thanks very much. I want to bring in our panel. Clinton supporter, talk radio host Bill Press, Clinton supporter and MoveOn.org national spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre, New York Times national political reporter Alex Burns, also Trump supporters Andre Bauer and Jeffrey Lord. Andre is the former Republican lieutenant governor of South Carolina. Jeff's a former top Reagan White House political honcho. Alex, let's start off with you. Just in terms of the reporting on this, what really stands out to you?
I think that just the visibility into how the FBI conducted this conversation with Hillary Clinton and what she sort of offered as her answers.
And did not offer.
And did not offer as her answers under that kind of pressure, we haven't seen the investigation up close like that before, and we haven't seen, we've certainly seen Hillary Clinton in a couple public appearances, certainly interviews in that press conference, which is a long time ago now, sort of bobbing and weaving a bit on the specifics of her decision to set up the email server. We have never seen this kind of intimate blow-by-blow account of what she sent and why and what her thinking supposedly was.
And Corinne, 39 times she says she can't remember. I mean, I know that's what lawyers advise people to say on a witness stand, but it doesn't come off all that great, does it?
Well, look, Anderson, she has been very clear. She said she made a mistake. She apologized. She said she would do it differently.
But she's not very clear to the FBI. I mean, she seems fuzzy on just about everything that happened.
No, I hear you, but look, FBI Director Comey said she didn't do anything illegal. What we learned, I believe what we learned from this report is that the FBI did a thorough investigation and there was nothing there.
Well, I mean, it seems, Bill, that to me, the reading from the FBI was that she didn't have the intent to do anything wrong, but clearly, was careless. The idea, though, that she, a policy wonk, a self-described policy wonk who knows the details in and out of healthcare policy and just just about everything else, doesn't know what a C is on some of these documents. I mean, if you have a security clearance, you know what a C is for classified.
Yeah, I'd be careful of that. I mean, I'm a policy wonk too. I got to tell you, I'm lucky if I can get around my
Right, but have you ever had a
my
security
computer
clearance?
without screwing something up.
But she's had a security clearance for years, and she doesn't know what a C is.
No, I don't.
And she never stopped to say,
don't-
God, I wonder what this C is.
I don't necessarily buy that. I want to make 2 points. One is, I want to point out it's Friday of Labor Day weekend, right? I want to congratulate the Clinton camp on their exquisite timing
Right.
for getting all this stuff out.
Right, it's a legendary late night to just dump
At the beach this weekend, I ain't going to be talking about this. But the other thing is, am I going to defend Hillary Clinton and her use of the emails? Absolutely not, because she doesn't defend it. It was wrong to set it up. It was absolutely monumentally careless and stupid the way the Clinton campaign has handled this whole thing. She admits that. In her interview with you, she took responsibility for it. But once you get that aside, what new do we learn here today? Nothing. What do you got after that? Nothing.
Well, Jeffrey Lord, I mean, I think there's some folks who would say that the way she interacted with the FBI does not reflect well on her, and maybe that's what's new to some people.
Wow, listening to my friend Bill, it reminds me of the old deal about, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? I mean, this is really bad. I mean, just in a political sense, you wonder if she's not on some secret Donald Trump payroll. I have to believe there are a lot of Democrats tonight silently cursing that Joe Biden is not on this ticket as the head of the ticket.
Dream on.
I mean, this is just beyond belief. Here is somebody advertising herself as a candidate for president who's the best prepared candidate in history, and she doesn't know what the C stands for on classified documents. She's putting this stuff on a private server, and then she acts like some mafioso capo in front of Congress saying, I don't recall, I don't recall, I don't recall. I mean, this is a gift to Donald Trump. It's going to go all the way to November.
Can I just point on that, Jeffrey? Look, I think there's time for a little reality check among you Trumpsters, okay? There are two stories in Politico this week. The one is that the RNC came to New York, and they sat down with the Trump people, and they went state by state by state, and they said, right now, we do not see a path to 270 for you. They told them that. There's another story just yesterday, or that was this morning, that Politico reported the Clinton people see 5 different paths to 270 for Hillary Clinton, and some of them go all the way up to 370. And you guys have been beating this email drum now for a year
It's a
I'll
and a
distraction.
half.
let Andre.
It's a distraction.
It ain't working.
Yeah,
Andre?
because you guys are using
But whether it's working or not, I mean that's a political question. But there's just the actual facts of what came out in this report today, and it is important to look at.
It is, and she has made a career out of forgetting. This is a woman that is highly intellectual, that has signed off that she had top secret clearance studying. I mean, they bring her in, and supposedly she signed off that she'd received this information. And so drone strikes aren't classified. Was anything not classified? She didn't question it. Evidently, she thought nothing was classified because we're talking about 13 phones, 5 iPads.
But that's the other thing. I mean, all along she has said this was done for
One.
convenience of having one device.
Which is
Turns
a
out she
lie.
had like 13 devices, all of which have disappeared. That the FBI wasn't actually
They
able
were
to examine
smashed
any
with
of them.
hammers. This is
yeah,
deception.
Two of them are-
Dysfunction. This
yeah,
is
two of them.
lying to
No,
the American public. And it's ironic that when she was interviewed by the FBI, I don't know when they ever interview anybody on a Saturday morning of July 4th weekend, and then Tuesday morning, the first business day, they immediately in the morning announced that there's no charges. And here we are again on Labor Day weekend. The timing is impeccable. But 228 people in that department have donated to her, so it doesn't matter
No,
what
here
they
we are on
do.
Labor Day weekend, but there are still no charges.
Of course
if
there
you have
are
a
gonna
beef
be.
with, but Bill, if you have a beef with Director Comey, then you ought to talk to Comey.
Bill, there have been so many people prosecuted by the Obama administration for doing so much less. You can make an argument than this. I mean, just because of intent, there are people who have mishandled documents or who have been prosecuted very severely. I mean, you don't think this raises some questions?
Well,
look,
Anderson, as you know, I wrote a book called Buyer's Remorse about the Obama administration going after too many journalists and abusing that law. So I'm not going to defend that. I'm just saying, look, what Hillary Clinton did in setting up the system was wrong. The way she handled it was wrong. Destroying those 30,000 emails or getting rid of them was wrong. The whole thing was wrong. But again, it's first of all, it's not resonating.
But it's
And
not-
secondly,
but it's not even-
there are
it's-
there was nothing
yes,
illegal. Bottom line, nothing
That's
illegal.
not really true.
Well,
No,
Go ahead,
it
hon.
is,
It
because
is true.
that's what the
It is
FBI
true.
lawyer said.
Alex, go
In the
ahead.
context of a presidential election, though, the standard that candidates typically clear is not didn't do anything that resulted in criminal charges, right? So there's a lot to examine
would hope.
in terms of judgment, in terms of the handling of sensitive information that, I think is fair game for the media, and I think for a conventional Republican candidate, if you had a Jeb Bush or a Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio on the other side of this, they would have ample opportunity here to make a case about, just who's responsible and who has made good decisions and who's committed
And
to
Jeffrey, it does
transparency.
seem-
That's a tough case for Donald Trump.
Well, Jeffrey, it's not just also, that she said, well, look, I made a mistake, I wouldn't do it again. It's the comments she has made up to this to describe it, that, well, all the emails that were turned over, those were all the work-related emails. Well, it turns out, actually, that there were thousands of work-related
17,000
emails.
some odd. Right. Anderson, this reminds me of back when Richard Nixon was under fire during Watergate. Democrats used to say one of two things: he's either lying or he's incompetent. And of course, the American people eventually found out, sadly, that he was not telling the truth. The choice here is similar. Either she lied or she's incompetent. Either way, this is not a win-win.
All right, we've been talking about what is or isn't legal. We're going to continue this discussion after the break. We're going to be joined by two top experts on the law, Jonathan Turley and our own Jeffrey Toobin. Also, throughout the hour, we'll keep you up to date on Tropical Storm Hermine as it moves north and possibly strengthens it again.